Okay, you're live.
Okay, we're live. Hey, welcome to How to Build Your Own Home every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We do live chat, and my wife's here with me as well. It's getting kind of dark out, isn't it? A little better. That's better. It's interesting as the winter progresses, it gets darker and darker. I think we've gotten rid of daylight savings time, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to look forward to the time change. It's going to be natural and gradual, the way things should go. I want something real quick to help people understand, kind of give you the skinny on general contracting and really what that all entails. Most general contractors enter the field from the side, meaning they learn a trade. It could be roofing, excavation, something, and they feel confident enough to go into a full-scale build because of what they know in one trade, or maybe even another 2 or 3 different trades. That's coming in at it from the side, and there's a benefit to that, and it's kind of something I kind of emphasize as important as anyone should come with more experience as a general contractor. And what that does is it allows them to be a little more competitive as a general contractor. So if you're an excavator and you learn all the trades of building a home, but you're an excavator primarily, you now can bargain and do better as a contractor on that job because you're doing some of the work on the job. All right. That's called a general contractor with a skill set that handles a lot of the work in-house. There are some contractors that handle excavation, framing, concrete. They'll just do it all. I know a gentleman down the road, and he does 1 spec home a year. All right. And he does all the work, literally. I mean, he's beating himself up for that. But he's doing the excavation, he's doing the concrete, he's doing the framing. So when he sells that home, he has a lot of flexibility on the price. He can actually be a little more competitive on the sell of the home. But then again, he's working a lot of hours and a lot just for who knows what he's getting out of that. But there's room, there's flexibility in that price point. Well, then there's a paper contractor. Paper contractor is really what an owner builder is. A paper contractor is somebody who basically hires out everybody to do the work, from cleaning, dumpster removal, you name it. They subcontract all that out, and that is a paper contractor. Now, what kind of contractor, if you were looking to hire a contractor or you're looking to be a contractor to build your own home, which one are you best suited for? Do you have a skill set that you can actually really save on costs? I mean, a real viable skill set where you can actually save a lot of money. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Or do you want to be a paper contractor? Now, I strongly recommend paper contracting is very valuable because right off the top, you're saving on the general contractor fee. And I just checked recently on some search that the average fee for a general contractor is between 10 and 23%. And it gets higher than that for high-end and luxury homes. Well, the mid-range is between 13 and 16%, somewhere in that range. And so if you take 15%, even if you just took 13%, which is kind of the low to mid-range, that's $13,000 for every $100,000 you spend to build a home. That's how much you're saving as a paper contractor. To be honest with you, that should be enough. And we're talking probably between $40,000 on the low end to upwards of $110,000 on the high end. You're saving by being a paper contractor. That's what it means to be an owner builder. You are basically trading all the workload of a general contractor just on the paper side. Okay, just on the paper side. And then you're going to go find all the different subcontractors to do the work on there. That there is the biggest savings. And if you're smart, you kind of stick with your guns and you stay in that lane unless you really feel confident in another trade or another appendage that you might have some skill sets in. That's something I really wanted to emphasize for a lot of people that are thinking about being an owner builder, what they might or what they're afraid of, what they're worried about. If you, and that's what the program that I offer at How to Build Your Own Home, it's all about paper contracting. It's all about helping you organize everything you need to run and manage a job without lifting a broom, pulling a hammer, lifting a nail, doing anything like that. That's the biggest savings. And I really want to emphasize that because there's a lot of other channels out there that want to teach you to frame or teach you how to do drywall or insulation or something like that. And to be honest with you, that's not the biggest savings in building a home. It's replacing the general contractor. That is going to be your, and that needs to be enough for you. If you can save 50 to 80,000 on a home, by gosh, that's going to be good enough for you. And so think about that. Now, if you do come at it with a trade, that becomes very, very powerful. And I'm going to talk about the best things you can do that will save the most money as an owner builder. So if you're going to DIY something and you have some confidence in the ability to operate machinery, and it's a relatively flat lot, you're just going to do a little bit here and there. Excavation is my favorite because of all the jobs we've done, honey,
that saved us a lot.
That's the one that saved us the most amount of money. From this home to several other homes, we're talking on the low end 30,000 to as high as 95,000. And I've seen, I'm doing jobs now where the excavation is north of $150,000. So if you have the capacity to operate machinery, that's a huge savings. But however, you have to be confident in that ability. And if you're not confident in operating machinery, then you're going to run into a situation that you really don't want to be in.
And they can't quite see it, the glare.
That's the glare. There you can see it. There we are. So that's just kind of an example of, and it took me the next evening to get it out of the ditch. So, but if it takes a while to learn some of that stuff. But and I've seen a lot of people do this, and they just go after it, and they buy a small piece of machinery. And I've seen more owner builders go after that, and then do their own heavy dirt work or light dirt work, depends upon the site that you're dealing with. But to me, that's the biggest cost savings. That's next to the general contractor, and it's hard to mess that up. Really, is hard to mess up if you know how to shoot grade. If you know how to get some compaction on some ground, you can grade it out. That to me is, I love doing that kind of work because I know between the contractor fee and the excavation, when you have a general contractor doing those two things, you know they're doing much better than most other builders. So let's take a couple of questions. I wanted to really help people understand really just the value of being a paper contractor is going to be more than enough to save a lot of money on your home. And then the next one is being excavator. And we'll talk about some other ones down the line as well. Okay. Okay. Prime time, Peyton. Hey, I like that. PTP. Okay. Keith, you ever had issues with materials being stolen? Worried about a bunch of lumber sitting around on the job? Not lumber per se. Tools, yes. Heavy equipment, yes. I lock it up before I go. If you keep most of the lumber bundled and you keep it wrapped and protected from the rain, then that kind of is more of a deterrent, meaning they have to go take the wrapper off. They got to unbundle it and snap the cord and go take some lumber away. But not, in some areas, high traffic, high build areas, a lot of work going on. Some builder next door might be, we ran out of 2x4s. Let's just grab a couple over there. I've seen stuff like that happen. But it's the tools that I worry about. And I don't like to get my lumber there until they're really, really, really ready. So good question.
We got Quincy here.
Quincy, hello, everyone. Good to see you, Quincy. Brady Morgan. Brady's hey, guys. Here. Happy Thursday. Yeah. Happy Thursday before Thanksgiving. Yeah. Jeff Abbott, 403. Hey, Jeff, I know you. Does your course have any insight on building a healthy home if someone has suffered from mold illness and that is priority one? That's my son calling right now. Yes, don't seal up your home to such a degree that a vapor and moisture can't dry off and can't escape. That's the biggest problem with people who have mold issues, is that they try to seal up the home to such a degree that they actually create more of the problem rather than solve the problem. And so it depends on where you are. If you're in a high humid environment, some dehumidification might help with that in a big way. But if you're in an arid environment, don't try to seal that up so much that a cold condensing surface can just sit there and puddle in a wall, in a floor, in somewhere, and then you're going to have some mold. You want to allow a home to breathe, and you want to filter it. And if you can have a home that can breathe, but it's a filtered situation, that's going to be the healthiest thing for you. And you'll look for an HVAC contractor that can put some heavy, more beefy filtration system on your HVAC system, and charcoal filters, all kinds of HEPA filters, just you name it, different filters. They're going to help you with that. But again, try to avoid the insane sealing up a home to such a degree. It's like a Band-Aid. You know, when you want to stop the bleeding, you put a Band-Aid on it. But as soon as you can, I take that Band-Aid off so it can air out, it can dry out, so it doesn't get infected. And mold is basically a bacteria that's growing because there's a moist area for it to grow. But if it's dry, it's not going to do that thing. So again, I'm just the opposite of a lot of the builders. I'm always pushing for more air movement through my home rather than sealing it up so much that I create problems down the road. Okay.
And there is a way to seal the home so you're not getting bugs
Right.
and things like that. Like the home is sealed. It's just, and maybe we should do a video on that, on the difference.
Yeah.
Like, because I think when people say you don't seal your home, I think they're like, well, what about the bugs?
Well, I don't do a zip system, and zip systems seal it up too much for me. So I use regular exterior sheeting, and it has the cracks in it, not the cracks, but it has the budding. So you have that little bit of air can move through it. And on top of it is vapor permeable. So it can breathe in and out both ways. It's when you take a piece of plastic or something and you seal up one side, and so vapor cannot move from side to side. That's where you've got a problem. I want to shut off air movement. That's for certain. But I don't need to shut off vapor movement. You want to be able to breathe through the home. It's kind of like I use this analogy. You're out in the snow, you're shoveling snow, and you got your coat up, and you're starting to sweat inside there, and it gets really, really bad. So what do? You unzip that coat so you can breathe, let some air in there, and dry off because you're just getting too sweaty inside there. It's the same thing with a home. You want to be able to let moisture dry off, and that way you stay healthy. Okay. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Lee Bleed. Okay, don't know if I said that right. It's super fun to rent a bulldozer for a week to clear my lot, like a kid in a candy shop. It is. Those are fun.
Yeah. That's what I always tell Keith when he first bought his tractor. You
Yeah.
got to buy a boy toy, big boy toy.
Yeah.
Girls like it too. Don't get me wrong, but
everyone
he was excited.
Everyone in my community has a lot of these quads and stuff like that, but I have a utility vehicle. I don't have a quad or a side-by-side, so I can actually do stuff. So good question. Good comment. Spazog. I hope I said that right. Let's say you don't know anyone you're hiring. How do you fairly protect yourself so you can fire a sub if he's doing poorly? He gets paid for what he did, so he doesn't try to hold you up. You're paying for performance, okay? And really, the best way to deal with that is to get people that are highly recommended in the community. Like I just met a gentleman down the road, and he was framing a home, and he was doing a really good job. And I went and visited him a little bit, and he goes, "You're Kelsch, aren't you?" "Yeah." My uncle's framing homes for you." I go, "It shows," because he learned from his uncle. So good people are products of other good people. So good people actually train others to become good at what they do. And so he had a nephew who was framing a home just down the street from me, and his uncle's framing my homes. So it's really getting to know people. And if you approach a person and you start to browbeat them and you try to get them down on their price, they're going to walk, they're going to balk, and they're not going to want to bid the home. And this is the biggest mistake that owner builders make. They think that building a home is a flea market. They think that they can browbeat people down into a cost or price, and it's not the same. Let's say, for example, you're going to buy candles and you're a flea market. They bought candles at a super discount somewhere else. They didn't manufacture them, and you might be able to work out a deal. But when it comes to labor, it's a different story. Would you like it if somebody browbeat you down in your labor for something you really know how to do well? So this is something you gotta get it out of your head. You're already saving enough being an owner builder and replacing the general contractor. That's got to be enough for you. Now you have the opportunity to get the cream of the crop. You're looking for getting really good people. Okay.
Also, though, you don't give them all the money up front, so then they are holding you up. Don't do that.
Right. And usually in my course, I talk about this. Framing is 3, sometimes 4 different draws. A lot of the mechanical subcontractors, it's 2, sometimes 3 draws. Plumbing is 3. Electrical is 3. HVAC, it could be 2. Siding guys, it could be 2. Roofing guys, 2, sometimes 3 draws. So every subcontractor is different, and based upon the size. Like I went to a window manufacturer today, and he needed a down payment on one job because it was really big and there was a lot of windows, like 42 windows, whereas the other job had like 16 windows and it wasn't very complex. And he says, no, we'll just go ahead and order this one. But the big one, Keith, I need some down payment on that. So yeah, that would be 2 draws versus 1. So it's really different with every supply house, with every subcontractor, but you'll get a feel for that as you start to talk with them. Okay. Okay. Emily bleed. Did I say that right?
You keep messing up.
Sorry. Most subs quoted me $5,000 a day for lot clearing. Cost me $2,900 for a week dozer rental, delivered plus diesel. That's not bad.
That's really good.
That's really good. See what I'm talking about? You couldn't save that much money if you installed your own installation. Yeah. There's no way you could do it. And yet that would be labor intensive, something you would have to do by yourself, and it would take you 5 times the amount of time to do it. But with heavy equipment, that's where you save the biggest. Okay. Good comment. What are your thoughts on steel siding? Looking at steel board and batten versus LP smart side. That's a really good question. A lot of research has come out with MEPs, electrical magnetic interference, with too much metal in the building. And a lot of people are saying that it's not necessarily healthy. I'm more in favor of Hardy over the LP Smart side and over the steel. Hardy is basically concrete board. So you avoid all the electrical influences, and it lasts longer without the rust. Even if it's galvanized, it's still not perfectly protected. But the cement board, that's just lasting forever. And LP Smart side, that's really a compressed wafer board. It's got a lot of wax and stuff in it to keep it from swelling. But it does have the capacity to expand and contract. And that is what causes things to wear down. Cement doesn't do that nearly as much. Metal does it a little bit, but your LP Smart side, that's gonna, with the weather, it's gonna do this up and down. It's gonna be not less. It'll be less than, say, vinyl. Vinyl just goes skew wampus on a siding, especially with extreme heat. But look into Hardy. I think you'd be surprised on how good that product is. Okay, good question. Brady, I always enjoy getting to play in the big machines. I always try to do most of my own door work. Yes, very good. Yep. Justin Connor, if you don't have the cash, how do you pay a subcontractor for a deposit before the draw? And can the sub submit a deposit invoice? They can submit a request for what's called mobilization. Like, for example, if you're going to hire somebody to do some dirt work, it's going to cost them. If they have a big track hoe, they usually have to hire a big diesel rig to load and haul that equipment to the job site before they even get going. And so they may ask for some money down if that's the case. If you're dealing with a loan, you should be able to go to the bank and request that. Here's an invoice. They're asking for some mobilization costs or material costs, site delivery, whatever it may be. And then they should be able to give you the money for that. Okay. Zen Ferguson. What are your thoughts on the best way to soundproof a room from outside noises? Some research I've done, I've come across mass-loaded vinyl and mineral wool insulation. What have you used? I prefer mineral wool. I prefer a double layer insulation factor with a dead air space between those two insulation features. For example, there's something called Sound and Fire with Rockwool, and it's a product about 3 inches thick, and you can pack it in the walls. In ceilings is really where your soundproofing is going to be. And then you've got some dead air between that insulation, floor trusses, and then you do some blow-in insulation below that. And sound operates very similar to heat when you create what's called a thermal break or dead air space. When there's a dead air space, insulation, dead air, and then insulation, it's very hard for that sound vibration to work its way through. It's when you have continuity from one object to another, and you can hear it. It's like if I tap this here, I can actually hear that in my head. But if I tap it here, I can't because there's dead air right there. It's the same thing with insulation. When you can create that dead pocket, it's going to be invaluable, especially in floors. In walls, I just pack it full with a good mineral wool product, or I just use net and blow. And if you're building a home that's 2x6, you're going to be better off than a 2x4. You're going to have more R value and more insulation factor in there. And I've seen some home owners actually go to a 2x8 wall. So it's even a little thicker. And again, more mass creates more sound deadening quality inside the entire home. So
I have a client that's buying a twin home, and the builder said that it had double insulation, 10 inches of open air space, and then double insulation. He says there's no way you're going to be able to hear anything. Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's just what you talk about.
Good question. Mixed beans. I like that. Getting ready to dig for the footers on a garage or walkout basement. Footers need to be 4 foot below grade. Do I just trench for the footers, or do I dig out the entire interior? You're going to have to dig out the entire interior if that's a walkout basement. And the benefit of that, because you're not, how else are you going to get it out? If you dig for your footings and then pour them, you're gonna destroy them. So dig the whole thing out, form your footings, get them poured. Then you have your walls put up for your walkout basement part. And when the walls are done and they're cured, then you can backfill against it. And of course, seal it with some tar and everything else you need. But you got a footers on a garage and a walkout basement. So dig out the whole walkout basement first. And then put that off to the side somewhere, because you'll reuse that, hopefully, if the geotech says you can, to reuse that to backfill and compaction against the home. Okay, good question. I'm looking, this is by Get to Roof. Ghetto Roof, I guess that's it there, right? I'm looking to build in social next year for my kids, SoCal, next year for my kids to grow up in they're 7 and 5, going to do it all or mostly myself with SIP construction. I will own the land. What max I will pay for structure? What's the max I will pay for the structure?
And then it went here. I have a budget of about $400K going full years.
Okay. What jurisdiction? Always SoCal is really different. like Orange County versus San Bernardino. It's going to be really different counties. Full DIY solar. Okay. Keeping your design very simple, keeping it, it's going to be tough, but based upon square footage, if I had, let's say 400,000 and divided by, let's say 2,000 square feet, that's $200 a square foot. It's going to be a little bit tough. You want to watch your square footage in that particular area. And when you do start to build or you're looking for some bids, you might want to do a consult with me. I might have some people that can help out that are down there.
It's hard to say what is the max pay for the structure.
Yeah.
Because there's so many variables.
Yeah, the land is going to help. The fact you've got that paid, that's going to be, more than 20% of the total cost of the loan. So you should be okay there. You may need some additional, especially for contingencies in the home. But I would keep your design as really simple and as streamlined as you can. 3-bedroom home for the 2 kids, maybe on one level, kind of a patio home. The minute you go down or up, you're going to increase the cost, but going up is cheaper than going down. And it depends upon the lot. And it also depends upon the permitting office, because I know the permitting offices are going to be pretty pricey down there. But again, it depends on the county or city jurisdiction you're in. But I wouldn't get discouraged. You just have to get informed. I would take the First Steps course, and that whole course online at how to build your own home is going to really help you identify cost per square foot. It's going to help you identify what the real cost is in your particular market. So I would start there. Take that First Steps course. Okay. It's really affordable and you'll like it.
It's Jaron.
There's
Hey,
Jaron.
Jaron. He's on LinkedIn. Good to see you.
He's a fellow contractor here locally.
Yeah.
Welcome. Marcella Marban, we are so happy our Omniblock walls are finally going up. Couldn't have done it without your guidance. Thank you.
Oh, we want to see pictures.
Yeah, send us some pictures. And also, I was going to mention something. Yeah, I'm going to try to interview Denny the first part of next year, probably the middle of January. So many people have been asking for him. But send us some pictures. We'd love to see that. And when you're done, send us a video. I want to let everybody know we're kind of opening how to build your own home to a larger opportunity for a lot of people. We would like to have videos of owner builders doing their projects or doing something on their home that they think would be informative for other people. My son and my wife are working on a little area of the website where people can actually submit or send links for video, and we'll just put it online and then we'll promote you. We want to start helping others help each other. I learn more from other people than I do from just about anyone else. So it's kind of a shame to not allow that to happen. Plus, if you're a general contractor and you've got something that's just really, really phenomenal, go ahead and do a video on it, and we can edit it and put it down for you and put it out there for you. And we want to promote all the accomplishments that people are doing. I get pictures and email from students all the time. And some of the things they are doing are things that scare me, that I couldn't believe you did that. I wouldn't have never imagined myself doing that. So that builds confidence. So as the months progress, this is something we're going to really push for in the coming years, is to really open this opportunity for a lot of people, because we learn and help each other better that way. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Canning 3. I've roofed 4 houses throughout my life. I like the permalock shingles and I'm wondering if that's something I could do myself. Would that void the warranty if it's not done by a licensed contractor? Talk with Jake at Permalock and ask him that. But my trick with Permalock when I install it is I install it with a speed square. So if I get the first one just perfect and I chalk my lines and I take that speed square across, the biggest mistake people make is as they're coming out of a valley, they're either crowning or they're smiling the opposite direction, because they're not square, and those shingles start to go this way or they start to go that way. That's the hardest thing if you have valleys. If you don't have any valleys, and say you have shed dormers and everything's at right angles, it's really hard to mess up on that shingle. But he has videos, and you can ask him for a link to all those videos. There's a lot of instruction on there. But yeah, it's my favorite roof. It's the best roof out there. So I do believe the paint warranty would be just fine. That's a 50-year warranty. But the manufacturer's warranty, 100-year, just check with him and ask him. Justin Connor, 4294, building with OmniBlock, plan on leaving the block exposed interior and exterior, eliminating siding if it's smart. In this instance, is OmniBlock still more expensive than a framed wall? It might be a little bit more, but when you eliminate those things, it should be 6s, if not just a little more affordable. But yeah, that's a good idea. I've seen some people do that.
Okay, she was in Riverside County.
Riverside County. Okay, that's out in the desert area. That's by Temecula.
Question? Do you need
I remember that.
Okay.
You're probably going to have a little more lenient building department versus those that are closer to the coast. And your build fee, your permitting fee might be a little bit more affordable versus those that are right on the coast. So not bad.
This is one.
Chunkel, SoCal is tough. You need to look also at the civil engineering aspect. Are you in sewer or septic? Do you already have electrical and water to the site? Is the site level? How many square feet home? Yeah.
Good question.
Good question. Yeah.
Hey, we know Justin.
There's Justin Jarrell, great electrician there. If anybody needs. And who was it? The one that just said here the builder just chimed in.
Jaron?
Oh yeah, Jaron, if you're still listening, you need to come to our networking group every Thursday at 9:15 at Hive Therapy next to TJ Maxx. I'll say it no more. Okay. Primetime Peyton, by far the best education on YouTube, hands down. Keith, do traveling builders make good money? Yeah, if they're on demand. I've been called to some things here in the past, and it's been pretty good. I don't do that traveling anymore. I know framers do. I know some others do. Heck, my electrician, he did that. He's traveled for a couple of jobs here and there. So, but yeah, it's a good question. But thank you for the comment. I appreciate that.
So this is,
I just installed Permalock.
Lock.
Okay.
Homeowner can install, doesn't void warranty.
There you go.
That's awesome.
That's good. Very awesome.
Owner builders helping owner builders. This is great.
This is what we need to do. And I want people to start producing videos of what they're doing. This is going to be really fun.
And that's why we have a Discord. They're in there helping each other all the time.
Yeah. Okay. When building OmniBlock, do you build your foundation the same as a stick build? No. That's a different. You have stick built inside the home part for partition framing, but the actual exterior wall, that's OmniBlock. And the only thing that's similar to it is you got a top plate at the very top, and that's where your trusses sit. And so at the very top, you'll have J-bolts that will sit in concrete at the very top cord. It could be 10 feet up, 9 feet up, however high your ceilings are going to go. And then your top plate, which is going to be a 2x8, not the 2x6, it's going to sit right on top and get bolted down to that wall system, which makes that an incredible home against hurricanes or tornadoes, because that wall is got a grid of rebar and concrete inside it. It's pretty phenomenal. So,
okay, this is a good question.
Laura BV7VN. Okay, how much a pain and costly would it be to rehab a historical designated home? It needs a total gut.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I have a client, and they have a historic home, and they weren't even gutting it. They were just painting and doing the landscaping, and they had to jump through hoops with the city and the state because it was on the historical society. So you have to have a real love for historic homes because it takes a lot longer, and there's lots of hoops to jump through and a lot of people to approve. What do you have to say?
I've restored homes that are over 170 years old, and it can be brutal if you're on the historical society. If it's all inside the home, what they don't see, they don't see. They don't come in and inspect that home every day. It's when you change it on the outside that becomes a factor. So that's the first thing to decide: how much of the outside versus the inside you're going to do. And you don't have to get, well, some places you may have to get permission, other places it's not. It's just recorded on the State Historical Society, but they don't control the design of that, the future maintenance of it. You're the owner of that. So I've had people that wanted to put a home on a State Historical Society, and I talked them out of it.
Yeah, you don't want.
You know, you just stay away from that.
Because
so,
they do control the paint colors.
Yeah.
But there's some things. It's a pain, so you gotta love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pain.
Mm-hmm.
Just check with them, but don't tell them what you're gonna do. Everything you're gonna do. So, good question. What do you think? This is from Zen Ferguson. What do you think of the large folding patio doors, like the ones that are 10 feet wide and 8 feet tall? I'm not in favor of them because they take up too much livable square feet inside the home as they're folding. I like the bypass.
The slider ones.
The bypass like this, rather than they fold and create space. I don't care for the accordion model, is basically what a lot of builders call it. I'd rather do a bypass, and it opens up more room without taking up space inside the house. Okay. Trucking Travels 23. I'm nervous that no electrician will know or want to work with OmniBlock. Well, Justin knows how.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Justin, you want to chime in?
Yeah, reach out to Justin. You're building somewhere, he knows how to do electrical for OmniBlock.
Here, I'll put Justin's name back up.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Reach out to him.
Reach out to him and get some. He might be a consult. Hey, Justin, there you go. Start a consult business on how to do electrical inside OmniBlock. Do some videos and create a course. There you go. Okay. Next one.
I'm looking.
I like the community aspect of what you're doing. Learning together helps everyone. That's why I started my channel, to help others learn. Got a bunch of recordings. Got to find time for editing to upload. Yes, very good.
It takes
very
a
good.
lot of time.
Okay.
Okay, so where are they building?
Yeah, where are they building? Just reach out to JR there, and they'll ask you where he's building. And
Trucking Travels.
For a simple fee, he would walk you through the whole thing.
Yeah. Or find the right person.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Okay. Are there sliders that don't have a big track sticking up out of the ground, kind of like zero transition?
You can do that. I think I've seen some that are level.
Yeah, it depends on how big you're going, because it could be a single bypass or a triple or a quad bypass. The more bypasses you have, the wider that track system is going to become. And so you have to just weigh the pros and cons of that. And most of those tracks aren't that bad. They're easy to walk on. They're very flat. They're not like humped, like some thresholds for doors and stuff like that. They're very flat. So you go into a manufacturer, a supply house, a supply store, and talk with them. And they have them usually right there, so you can actually look at them. Okay.
Okay, JR. They are in Henderson.
There you go. Real close by.
Yeah, that's doable.
That's doable.
Okay. We get this question a lot.
I'm being told that to get a construction loan, I will need a licensed GC to sign on to the project. Do you find this to be the case in your area? I'm in Phoenix. Yes and no. I actually am getting a lot more success with a letter that I have in the First Steps course, or it's in the it's in the download section. And you take that letter to the bank, and it details the entire course that you're being
self-managed.
The self-managed course. And I've had some success with that. And to be honest with you, banks want to lend to good credit people, even if they're going to be an owner builder. So it's your credit they're looking at first. And banks that are pushing you away, oh, we want a GC. And right now banks are hungry for lending. Why? Because there's not much lending taking place. So I'm seeing a lot of banks just pivot on that. I've seen banks pivot on this back and forth over the 2-3 decades I've been building. They get real tight. They don't give money out, and then they become open. We need to get some business back in, and so they're lenient, not lenient, back and forth. So you never know. But take that letter to them, and it shows how informed you are. And then when you take our budget that's filled out, ready to go to them, they're going to, wow, this person is organized. This is, and then when you start submitting draws with the draw sheets and everything, it's so orderly and so organized. They're going to say this is better than builders we deal with. So they just need to be informed on that.
On what you're doing.
Take that letter to them. It's a letter I wrote, and it will help them out. See if that works for you. Okay.
Yeah, self-managed program.
Okay.
Okay.
Zen Ferguson, I haven't really priced a large sliding door, but let's say I want a 10-foot wide, 8-foot tall. What ish would that cost to buy and install? That could be anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000. It would be more if it's a 9-foot or even higher door, but an 8-foot's not too bad. And that would include the door and the installation of it. So something, and again, it varies. So many different manufacturers. And this is something you're not going to necessarily find at a box store. You're going to find this at custom glass and door places in your town, and just check with them. Okay.
This is nice, Jeff.
Jeff Henson, hello from Central Kentucky. Sorry to see about the fires and floods you all have been through a lot. I definitely would hire you to build my forever home. That'd be great. I'll have to move to Kentucky. Okay.
That's all we got right now. Okay. Any other questions? Put them in the chat.
Yeah, put them in the chat.
Okay, here we go.
It's
I know we're on a delay, so
Okay.
we'll do this.
We're planning a window in the master shower and master bathroom space above the tub. What's the ideal size kind of awning for a modern craftsman style? You want it to be mechanical. You want it to be able to slide, or even a transom window, so that in really, really steamy days, you can get some air back inside that bathroom. And if you're in a very humid environment, letting that air out is going to be very, very beneficial to that bathroom over time. But look at transom windows or a slider. Slider might be good. But when it comes to sliders, especially in bathrooms, they can get stuck over time if they're not used. They really need to be oiled so they can slide easy. But I would look for a transom, something that opens and you lock it, something like that. That's not too high up, but allows for ventilation to take place. My point is just made with the fact that we always put windows over showers and bathtubs, at least over bathtubs. Why? Because of the heat and moisture buildup. Oh, it's so bad, we need to get it out. If you can get all that moisture buildup outside the home, it's not going to penetrate in the walls and cause mold and stuff to grow. This is how you stay healthy in a home. The faster you can dry it out, the better. What happens when you take a cloth, washing dishes is my pet peeve. If somebody washes something and they don't get hot water on it and wring it and hang it on something so it can dry. If it sits there for like 45 minutes or even a couple of hours, you put your nose to it, it smells bad. It's like a washing machine. You put clothes in there, but you forgot to take them out and put them in the dryer. What happens the next day? Ooh, they stink. You get my point. That's how you should build a home, so that it can vent out, so that water and moisture don't sit, because when they do, that's when things start to grow. Okay.
And I would say, like, the ones that open up, is that what you're saying, that crank and open up? Just watch how they open up and where they're located. If people are walking by, they can hit their head on it. We had a kitchen one that was that way. And if you're not paying attention, just looking at the sidewalk, you can hit your head into the...
Right.
So sometimes people like sliders, but did you talk about size? Ideal size? I don't know if that's more of a design question. Mackenzie would probably know more about that.
It depends on how high your ceiling is, because then I need to have certain headers, and the wider you go, the beefier the header is going to be above the window. And so you're limited on width, and then of course you're limited on height. You don't want it to be down a certain level, but it also has to be tempered. So any glass that's in the shower or over a tub combo, a situation like that has to be tempered. Okay. Justin Connor just wanted to say huge thank you. I purchased a self-managed program a month ago. Listening and watching the videos every day, huge help. Thank you.
So you've got that letter then in there, and
Yeah.
you can reach out to us if you need help finding that letter for the banks.
Yeah, just go to the download section.
And we've had
You'll see it
students
there.
that have gotten it because of that letter.
Mhm.
And so you should be in the Discord group too. I hope you got that email. If you need me to resend it to you, just let me know, because that's a great place.
Okay. Ben Payete 9986. Really appreciate you guys doing this every week. I'm hoping to become a GC, and I always learn from these videos. You're welcome.
We hope you do it.
And the first thing you build, you're going to do a video on it, and you're going to send it to us, and we're going to help you with your business, and we're going to say,
yes,
that's what you need to focus on. That's what we want to do.
Yep.
It'll be fun. Okay.
Okay, so back to the bathroom window.
And my wife wants 2/3 of the window frosted for privacy.
Frosted is good.
I don't know if they're going to do 2/3
know.
of the window. They're going to do all of it frosted.
Mm-hmm.
It's called obscured, and usually it's a milky color or it's a rain glass or something like that. But some of these aren't that obscured, and you can see bodies through them. So make sure you go into the supply house and they'll give you samples of the glass, and that's what you want to look into.
If you have the extra money, there is new technology where you just clap and you can see through it, and then you clap and it frosts and it's private. It's really cool. The Prada homes around here, they've been doing it in the bathrooms.
Yeah,
it's great.
That. That's pretty cool. Kind of a clap-on bathroom. Okay,
All
someone says
right.
hello.
Hello, you made it.
I
We're
finally
so
made it.
glad you did.
Okay,
Okay, he's got 10-foot ceilings.
10-foot ceilings.
And 4x4 bathroom space, 11x9.
4x5 bathroom space, 11x9. Okay.
Okay, let's go to this.
This might be a dumb question, but why not use OmniBlock for the interior wall? Cost. Okay. You can put a 2x4 wall up very cheap and very affordably, and then still put insulation in it, and it would be very efficient for the entire home. And the other thing is, it would be I wouldn't spend the money on OmniBlock like that. There's no need for it. And plus, talking about running electrical through all the OmniBlock, you only want to limit it to the outside wall, and then that would lower your costs on electrical and a lot of other things. That's the benefit of OmniBlock, is it's got a thermal break in it. It's so powerful that it slows down heat and cold transfer better than any wall system I've seen, because it has all these thermal breaks inside there, plus insulation in it. 2 layers of insulation and 3 layers of concrete, if you can imagine that, and a thermal break that is unique in the industry. So that's the neat thing about OmniBlock. Okay. What do you see spec home builders doing wrong that you would never do? They build too big.
Oh.
And they don't build to a specific market and demand, and they probably put too much in the wrong place. People love a better kitchen versus a big living room, or combining them together, not cutting it up, learning to build with current styles and trends that are more open concept. And if they're building, I see builders that use plans that are 15, 20 years old, and they try to sell these homes and they sell them for cheap. And it's not necessarily appealing. Me, I love square footage that's unused, that can be used down the road. Back in the day, people had basements, but they would unfinish the basements, knowing that, we have a place to grow and do other things down the road. And builders now don't give that option to people. There's no place to grow. These small patio homes that are 2 and 3 bedrooms, maybe a bathroom and a half, they're so tiny, there's no room for storage. There's no room for growth. I can't take mom in to care for. They're not thinking multi-generational. They're not thinking stages. I can do this, and then it may be that later. And they're just limited. And I could go on and on with that, but knowing your market and who you're building to is kind of key. And here's something to keep in mind. You can build in the 400,000 range, 600,000, 800, 900. The higher up you go in the range limits the sellability of the home. I'll let my wife make a comment on that.
I always come back to when it was, I want to say the 2006, before the crash of 2008, when I was a real estate agent and it was just booming here. And they were building $1 million homes and the designs were horrible. Then the market crashed and people just lost the homes, the spec homes, because they didn't put thought in it. They just thought, oh, if we build it, we'll sell it. We'll build it, we sell it. But bad design is a bad design. It won't sell.
Yeah.
Design is most important.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole other list, but design, it needs to be practical and good.
Open concept, open living is so powerful because it doesn't turn anybody off, especially if it's done right. When you walk into a front of the home, you don't want to see the kitchen, but you want to see an open concept, but the kitchen is off somewhere else.
And ideally, you don't want the bathroom right there either.
Yeah.
But sometimes it happens. But yeah, the bathroom is a big deal where you place the bathrooms. Big deal. Okay.
Rohan, what's the most impactful book you've read? The Book of Daniel.
Okay.
And probably my dad's books. This one here. This one here is the most impactful book I've read by my own father. Passed away a couple years ago, but it's on Amazon. So, thank you for the question. Interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Saint Victor 308. When building slab on grade for addition, should you top row of stem wall be header block to give the slab an edge to connect to? I think what you're talking about is, let's say you have an 8-inch wall, okay, and it's your stem wall. Well, typically when they have a slab on top of that, they'll put a 2x4 on the inside of the wall. And then when it's done curing, they'll pull the 2x4 out. And then they grade everything and have it turned down before they get to this wall. But now it's got that lip so it can rest on. So it's not going to sink down and settle and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what you're talking about. Slab on grade for addition should top row of stem wall be header block. You can do that, or you can just slab on top of the stem wall. It depends on what your contractor is going to want to do. That's harder to do because you've got to nail a batter board to the outside of the stem wall, which sometimes destroys that wall. And then so you can pour your concrete on the top as a cap. But I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I like the slab to be on the inside. So if this is my wall, my stem wall, my slab is going to come right up level to it, right on the inside. Okay. And then you've got J-bolts along the side here, and you put your base plate on top of that. So, but you said header blocks. I'm not sure what you meant by that when you're talking about a stem wall on the slab on grade. I'm just talking about the base foundation itself. Hope I answered your question.
Maybe rephrase it and do it again.
Okay.
Okay, this is Michael's favorite.
Michael, the ruthless elimination of hurry. Yes.
That's pretty good.
That's good.
Mine is, besides the word of the Lord, the scriptures would be one of them, because I have a stack of them, would be beautiful outlaw.
Beautiful outlaw.
That's a good one. Outwitting the devil.
Outwitting the devil.
Lots of them. I got lots.
A couple more questions here. Hey there, hope you and your loved ones have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and thank you so much for your time helping everyone on here. Some project, much respect. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you for that comment. Tidian Simpson, crawl space or basement? Really good question. Which would you say is better for long lasting or making more with your space for doing little? If you have a frost step that's going to take you down 30 inches plus anyway, that's close to 3 feet. Now, when you really think about it, the difference between 3 feet and say 9 feet is another 5-6 feet. you're excavating that. You're there anyway with heavy equipment with the crawl space. And then the forms that you use are just a little taller. So we did a crawl space and then we lifted the home 2 feet. We now have a basement. And so it added, how many square feet is that? Like 600 square feet, something like that, 450 square feet.
It made all the difference. I love it.
Here's the added advantage. Okay. I got to get over here so people can see.
Okay, sorry.
Here's the added advantage. When you add square feet, it's an automatic equity to the home. Mm-hmm. Okay. I was building a long time ago, years ago, for a young family. And we started to dig and we found a septic on the property. That cost us like $8,000-9,000 to dig out. It was bad. Somebody else's septic that was left there and we had to dispose of it. Well, now they didn't have enough money to build the home. So on a fly-by-night situation, what I did is that I ordered attic trusses over the garage, and I saw how we could create a corridor from the upstairs right into the garage bonus area, and it gave them an additional 460 square feet. And that added an incredible amount of square feet to the home, increased the value of the home, while they were able to qualify for just a little bit more to do the things they wanted to do. Square feet, anytime you can add square feet and it's not much of a cost and you don't have to finish it like a basement, that becomes an advantage down the road, a huge advantage. So I'm a big fan of grabbing square feet where it's feasible. Okay. Good question. Prime time, Peyton. How specific are you on specs for trim carpentry? You tell them exactly what you want or just what they feel is right. For example, that brown trim behind you. Right here, that brown trim. Yeah, that's a arch right there. If you have a design, and that was installed from a design my daughter found, and she said, can you match that? And he goes, I can do a little better than that. And he came up with some tweaks. So if you have an actual, like on Pinterest or something, and you say, I would really like this, I can do that, and they may even offer some different tweaks to it. So,
but every woodworker is different, because our cabinet guy, we gave him a picture also, and it did not turn out anything. He did it twice, and it didn't turn out. So
yeah, there's some that just will not listen, and they're going to do it their way, and you want to talk with them, and some that just give you better ideas than what you've found. It depends on how you dial in with them and how you're able to work with them. Okay. Michael, do I need to use 8x35 brackets for the rafters on my office shed? 2x6 walls, 2x8 rafters, 120 square foot floor area, 312 pitch black wall, 8-inch high from wall to ceiling, 10 foot. Do I need 8x35 brackets for the rafters? I think you're talking about hurricane straps. If you don't have brackets, I don't know if your rafters are sitting on top of the wall or if they're sitting inside the wall. If they're sitting inside the wall, that's a hanger. If they're sitting on top of the wall, that's a structural screw. You can have hurricane straps, but it takes 4 nails and it's not as easy to install. They now have structural screws that go right in underneath the top plate, go all the way up into that rafter, and they hold that down into place. So again, I don't know if it's sitting inside or sitting on top, but I hope that answers your question.
Okay. If you respond, I'll go back. Okay.
Planning. We'll take a few more questions and then we'll get going here. Planning to build 3,300 square feet each level, 2 levels, 6,600 square foot home. That's on forced air versus ceiling head mini splits for everything. 3 compressors and 15 heads.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah. Thoughts on forced air? I like to do and I just did this for a client. We're doing forced air in the main living because they actually like the temperature of the home to be warmer. And then in their bedrooms, they like it colder. So the bedrooms are going to have mini splits. And each bedroom family member likes a different temperature, colder than the main living. So that's the benefit of a mini split, is you can actually control temperature wise inside the rooms better than forced air. Now you can do it in forced air, but it's a highly costly venture to do that. And so that's why mini splits are very affordable. And I like the ceiling cassette systems. They got really skinny systems. They've got all kinds of new systems coming out for that. But keep in mind, when you do mini splits, if one's on one mode, they all have to be on the same mode until they learn how to figure that out. That's going to be a new technology down the road. Trucking, do you always have to have the civil and structural engineer create plans for your build? No and yes. On the civil, no. On the structure, yes. However, some jurisdictions don't require it. I would strongly advise getting structural engineered plans because it's the only way to hold anybody accountable. If you're hiring anybody to do foundation work, excavation work, framing work, you name it, how else are you going to know if they're doing it right? You're not going to know. So you need some structural plans for that. As for civil, stay away from that unless some jurisdiction gets in your way and they're demanding some civil plan. If you don't have curb and gutter and you have to do it, you might have a civil engineer deal with that. So good question.
I should have you come over because you're not there. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, I like this question a lot.
Are we meeting on Thanksgiving? Have a potluck? No.
I know we should have something. I really love events, and I've been thinking about we need to do an event, but I just didn't know how many people would come. So working on that. Let's figure something out.
No, we won't be having live chat on Thursday.
We won't. No.
I'm going to be on the couch.
So have some extra pie.
Have some extra pie.
For us.
We'll take one more question here.
Okay, so there's one.
Okay.
Okay. So back to his. He says it was on top.
Okay.
That.
If it's on top, that's a structural screw, Michael. And just go to your truss plant and ask them for structural screws. Tell them not to send hurricane straps. It's much easier to install.
Okay, last one.
One more thing. I showed my dad, who's a contractor, the budget, and he said that's the most detailed one he's ever seen. Thank you, guys. You're welcome. Yeah. You ended us on a really nice note and made us feel really good. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Anyway, you guys have a great Thanksgiving.
We'll miss you.
We'll miss you. And we'll see you guys on the other side in 2 weeks. You guys take care.